introduce Laura to you. Let's see if the last people are coming in. A lot of spaces here. I would like to reintroduce Laura to you. You already saw her in the video this morning. Laura came to us several years ago. You also see some young Laura movies tomorrow, because we have known Laura for a long time now. Laura came to us with tics, and we treated her with exposure and response prevention. She will tell more about that later on. But first of all, we would like to hear from Laura what it is to have Tourette's from a patient's perspective. And I think, Laura, there's no other person who can better explain this than Laura. So, Laura, if I please can give you the word.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm going to explain Tourette in my daily life for you using the logo of the Dutch Tourette Syndrome Association. It contains of circles, and they are empty for a reason, because Tourette is different for every patient. And I'm going to fill the circles, so the biggest circle with my biggest symptom for you right now. First of all is ADD. The thing is, I see and I hear everything. So there's no filter, and I have to process everything as well. This causes concentration problems. So if you can imagine if I have to make a test at school, whether someone falls down off their chair or whether someone is just writing, for me it's the same sound. It's just as big. So I cannot concentrate on my test right there. The other part of it is energy problems. I have a lot of times I don't have enough energy because I have to process everything. So it's really tiring. There is a part of when I have too much energy, because, well, that's the ADHD maybe a bit more. But if I'm focused on something very much, then I just I'm too enthusiastic or something like that, and I give out all my energy, and I don't have enough for the rest of the day or maybe the rest of the week even. Then there's a big circle with thoughts. I didn't know how to put it otherwise than thoughts, because it contains a lot of things. You can say it's never quiet in my head, and maybe for you it's the same. It's maybe never quiet in your head, but if I have to explain about half a minute of what I think, I'll need to use 5 minutes or more. So it's very quick and very much. I have some different types of thoughts. First of all, there's always someone with me. To me, there's always a person who I can talk to. So when I'm alone, there's someone I talk to, and it's not me, it's an actual person, and she exists. She doesn't know it's her, and that's a good part. But I'm always talking to her, and she can help me make decisions, and sometimes she makes it worse, but a lot of the time she makes it better to make decisions for me, or to try to calm me down. Then there's I have a lot of stories in my head when I'm alone. There are always stories that can be about anything you want. So it can be good stories about winning prizes and falling in love, but it's also possible that those stories are about people who are very close to me dying. I know it's not actually happening, but I get the same feelings with it. Then there's this thing I call flash thoughts. Those are very quick, and they go by very quick as well, and there's no feeling involved with it. So it's often that I see myself dying, like when I trip on the stairs, and I keep on walking, but I see myself laying down the stairs dead. And to many people that's strange, or it might be, well, for kids it's not that nice, but there's no feeling with it. So I know, I see it and it goes away. A different part of it is that sometimes I have like sudden memories. If something reminds me of something that happened a long time ago, I feel the feeling of that memory, and it's often not that good, and I always shiver when it happens. It's like I don't want to feel it, but I immediately feel it and see it. Then there's repeating situations, you can call it. When I meet someone, when I'm just walking down the street and I make small talk, I have to do that conversation over and over and over again in my head until it's right. There's no right, but until it's right, and that can be for about 1 or 2 or maybe even all day, 1 or 2 hours or maybe even all day. That's the thoughts. Then the next part I won't explain as much because you just saw me with my tics. I am curious whether you actually see me ticking. Right now I don't have a lot of tics. But the biggest problem for me with tics is not that I have tics. I have about 60 to 70 every 15 minutes. But it's the pain that comes with it. Because I always do like that and my back will hurt a lot. So I have to go to the physical therapist every week. And I can actually crack my own bones. So that's hurting. Then a smaller circle with autism. I need structure. So I need to know what is going to happen and when it's going to happen. And I need a plan. And you might know people with autism cannot plan. Well, I could not plan, and then I've learned how to plan. So I'm actually one of the best planners there is, because I learned how to do it because it's not in me. I cannot meet friends or someone spontaneously. I always have to have a week's notice. So if you say, well, let's go do this or that, that's almost not possible. Almost. Depends on what you say. Then with social interactions, that's sometimes hard for me because I don't know what's normal. There is no normal maybe, but I don't know what people expect of me. So I don't know what they want or what they think, so I don't know what people are thinking when I say something to them, and it doesn't matter, but it matters to me. So that's, I always wonder, can I say this, and should I say this, and is this normal, and I have no clue. Then there's anxiety. Like I said before about the flash thoughts, I can see what goes wrong. So if I'm in a big tower or some sorts, I'm not afraid of heights, but I see the tower collapsing. That's a flash and it goes away, but it adds to the fear because I think it might happen. And I'm always doubting everything. So I don't know what's normal, what I said before, but the clothing I'm wearing today, I actually had a conversation with a friend about it for about 2 hours. And that's after the 2 or 3 weeks I've thought about it. So, and that goes for every day of this week. And I have a lot of anxiety at night when I'm going to travel the next day. 2 days ago I was so scared that everything was going to go wrong, while I know it doesn't go wrong, but I do think it goes wrong. I added a couple of circles because it's not done yet. So the next one is OCD, and I didn't think I had OCD until I made this speech. I didn't think I was checking everything, but I actually do. I always check over and over again whether the door is locked at night, whether the stove is off. Well, you can name a couple of more things. I don't have to check a certain number of times, but I do constantly check. So when I walk by, I will check whether it's closed or whether it's locked or whether it's, well, a lot of that stuff. And I have a lot of symmetric behavior. Everything has to be straight and everything has to be centered. So that means that this PowerPoint is not good. It's terrible actually, but I couldn't get the words in the center of the circles. The OCD one is covered a bit because the circle goes on it, but it's not in the center of the circle. So it drives me crazy. And tomorrow we'll have a role play about that. So then you can see what happens to me. Then one more circle is emotions. My emotions are always bigger, so that's with anxiety, but it's with anger and it's with doubting and also with happiness, but that's just happiness and you have a lot of negative emotions as well. So when I'm sad, I'm really sad and I can be focusing on one small thing. Like a couple of months ago, I was in a newspaper with an interview together with Kara, and it was an amazing interview, and I liked the article. I didn't like the photo, and then I focused on the photo. So I was sad about it, while I know it was a very good article. So you can imagine that together with the thoughts, this can cause depression. And I have been depressed for about 5 years, and I'm glad it's behind me. One more. It's HSP, it's highly sensitive person. I am sensitive for everything. If you know kids with Tourette, and I hope you do, ask them about their socks, or their clothing, or the tags in clothing, or the labels, or the shoes, or well, I can go on like that. Everything itches. Everything. And that's really everything. I'm even sensitive to the sun. I have to go out with sunglasses, and everything I see is coming in bigger. And everything I feel, well, I do feel everything. I now have the mic at my dress, but it's okay for now. And when I'm done, I'll take it up. Then there's a list of smaller things. Sleeping problems, that's actually a big one as well. I have trouble sleeping, and not just when I'm laying in bed. I'm constantly thinking about a lot of things, but also getting into bed because I'm afraid of all those obsessive thoughts that I will get. So I actually have meds for them. It's even worse when I have to go to sleep. Last night I needed to go to sleep and I couldn't sleep. So then the anxiety adds to it. Then the need to control everything. You can imagine when you can't control your muscles and your thoughts, you want to control everything else. So that's even with booking my flight here. I knew it would cause me anxiety, and my sister is here with me, so she could have done it, but I had to do it myself because then I knew it was good. And she would have done it good, but I had to do it myself. Then there's a lot with numbers. I don't know what it is, but I just love numbers. I know them. I remember them. I always remember them. I remember speed skating times from the Olympics in 2010 and stuff like that. I know dates. I actually know the film you're going to see of me tomorrow. I know what date it was filmed, and that was 12 years ago. And then there's a headache. Well, you can imagine when you keep on jerking your neck, it will get sore. So I have a lot of headaches, and it's always tense. And bad handwriting, not cause of tics, but I think about 10 or 20 different types of handwriting. If you see me writing one page, it's about 10 different types of handwriting, and when you don't know it, you don't believe it's all my handwriting. The last part is the positive part, because I don't like to talk about all the negative stuff for Tourette when I don't add the positive side. I will talk about that later today. But it's impulsive, creative, empathic ability, photographic memory, sense of justice, loyalty, perseverance. I love that one. You can also call it stubborn, but I call it perseverance. And a great imagination. Of these, I have 4 diagnoses actually, which are ADD, autism, OCD, and of course Tourette's. I meet kids with about 3, 4, 5 diagnoses, and I don't understand why. Because we all know it's Tourette. So for me, I would like to be there. I would like there to be a list of symptoms with Tourette. So not just comorbidity, but symptoms. Tourette is tics now in the DSM, but why not just give a list of symptoms with it? Then you don't have to give all those diagnoses, because I do need those diagnoses to get help from the government, and especially for children when they need help at school, you don't get help for Tourette. You get help for autism or ADD. So you need different diagnoses, and you can diagnose all of them, but why would you? So I hope one day there will be just the diagnosis Tourette, and then a list of symptoms with it, because we all know it's Tourette. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Laura. Are there any questions for Laura? It was a really clear picture, I think you got.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And in addition to this, because we heard a lot of comorbidity and a lot of extra symptoms that you can suffer, I would like to ask some of the other speakers to go on in this subject of comorbidity. And the first one is Sanette.